Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to PC F2, where today we are going to be racing around the Interlagos circuit in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Today it is just me commentating as well. Mitch went and went to a football game where, as I know of at the moment, his team is losing. I'm hoping we are on the game and we are live. So we're hoping for a better run than last week, where things didn't go too great with the stream. But yeah, I have it up on the site this time. I'm looking, and there might be a few changes I do make throughout the stream, like quickly, if the frame rate is being a bit dodgy, like it always does. But we'll have to see first. I've got it up on my other screen, so we'll be fine. Anyway, first guy out on track today is David Hoy in the Aston Martin, who I don't believe has raced yet this season. And he's going to be joined by a reserve driver this race, as David Power is not racing. So we're going to follow on board here for a lap around the circuit, and we'll see what he can do. So, alright, across the line, and the first few turns are the CRSs, so let's see, he goes into 4th for this. Takes a lot of the inside curb, nearly loses the car, and goes a bit wide there. Has he bailed the lap already? Yes, okay. And apparently, alright, so, anyways, we wait for another driver to come to the line. We have the Williams, is that? Yes, alright, so I believe this is a reserve of Gohan Martinez. Well, let's follow in then and give you a guide to the track. So, again, into the centre S's, down to 3rd this time. Takes a line just to, you know, on his bank and not invalidate the lap. And you know, along the Reta Aposta he goes, and he's heading down towards Descida del Lago, I believe it's called. He takes that. Didn't take much of the inside apex and nearly loses the car, but he's still going to keep going on this lap. And he's coming up towards, I believe, turns 6 and 7. Not sure, not quite sure the name of these. And takes that quite nicely, using a lot of the curbs here, a bit wide, but if you can get a decent exit. Now this corner you want to take wide on entry, and he's got an alright exit. It's easy to lose traction through there, and he's bailed on his lap. As first lap, well, David Hoy with his 1:19.0, but that was bailed, so he's probably going for another lap, as we have a lot of cars coming through Sector 3. We have, I believe that's Cody Reed finishing off his lap. And it's coming up to line. Gohan Martinez does stay at 10.4, and Cody Reed's going to beat that with a 108.9 on mediums. Alright, so I should probably... Alright, you can see what tyres everyone's qualified on. So we have a mixture of softs and mediums, all up and down the grid really, as Adam Lapage goes onto provisional pole with a 108.4. And then we have the two Red Bulls crossing the line of Hitchin and Levente. Levente was just starting his lap, and a lot of cars still starting the lap, and a lot of them have invalidated. Alright, so let me know in chat what your prediction is for this, and also I need to give me 2 seconds. I'll just vote on the polling chat so it moves out the way, so I can actually read chat. There we go, sorry. Yeah, it's a bit dodgy. Yeah, I was going to say the stream more. Yeah, okay. I can see that it's not running the smoothest right now. I can change that momentarily. As anyway, Majinski and Gohan Martinez are the first into the 107s, both in the high 107s. And who else do we have here on our lap currently? We have 2 Red Bulls just crossing the line. So I assume that's Levente on his lap, who goes on provisional pole with a 107.7. So next across the line will be Pavel in the Haas. He's coming into the line now and does a 108.1. Also, if whoever's in chat, could you please let me know if the stream being it's sort of jittery for me, but just let me know if it's on my end or if it's for everyone to see, because I can quickly make a few adjustments. Alright, next to the line is an Alpine who's just starting their lap, Rajpal and Aston Martin of David Hoy who's pitting, and then that's the Williams of Goran Martinez who's just going to pull into the pits, and it's Cody pulling into the pits. So everyone seems to have completed their first runs here, which is gives us an idea of, you know, who we think is going to come out on pole. Alright, I need to just get back into the lobby as I just was amending some stuff, and my Wi-Fi went a bit dodgy on the, well, not my Wi-Fi, but the stream went a bit dodgy, but I was just attempting to adjust a bit, right? Hopefully we are still fine. And I will swap back over in a second once I'm back in. Alright, there we go, we're back in the lobby. I assume my timer's probably going to be broken now, because you know what this game's like. Anyways, we have... Who is on a lap at the moment, does it say? We have... let me just get myself back up on here. I've adjusted the bitrate, so if someone can let me know if that's any better or worse, as that would be ideal to know. Alright, so we have Majinski, he's just started his lap, so he's following through, as I don't think we have anyone else on our lap other than, I think that's Adam Lapich going to the line now, so we'll see his time, and it's a 107.5, which puts him on provisional pole. Alright, so he's going to take this. He's managed to keep it in track limits there. He took a bit of the curb, which is ideal. And we have one of the Hasses who's just rejoined, who I believe disconnected right at the start. We also have, I think that's, no, Rajpal's on an out lap. We have one of the Williams going up to the line to start their lap. Next after that is a Haas of Havel to start his lap. But then we have, after that, I think that's again someone starting their lap. Yeah, it's Levente in the Red Bull. Then we have Harvey now coming to the line. He's boxed instead, as he'd already completed the lap. Then McLaren of Majinski, who wasn't able to improve on his time. So he still stays in P4 at the moment, but still, I don't know how long of the session left, obviously. But we'll have to see. Slightly bit better, still like 20 FPS. That's okay. Well, I'll try still after qualifying. We should be okay to do that. Jimbin now goes on to pole with a 107.3, but instantly beaten by Hitchin with a 107.2. Also, since it's on 20, is it, you know how it says it's on 20 FPS? Is it watchable or not? Like, as in, is it actually okay to be able to view, or is it just all in all just quite difficult to follow along? As we have Alpine of Martinez, who wasn't able to improve. Next is going to be the Haas of Pavel, who has invalidated his lap with two cars right behind him, which I think is Levente, who goes up to P3 on a 107.4, and there was Aston Martin behind him, but I think that was Faraz starting his lap. Next up, I think that was an Alpine, as Martinez has retired. I think that's it, just he did a lager. And he's just binned it in the wall completely there. It's meh. You know, that's just, it's great help. Anyway, back to the session. We currently have a top three of Hitchin, Jimbin and Koskadija. with, I don't know how long to go. I assume it's probably around 5-ish minutes left of the session. Maybe a bit less. Better than last time, definitely. Okay, that's good then. We have Faraz coming to the line now. Let's see what he can do. It's going to be a 109.9, which currently puts him at the back, but he's still got time left to do a lap, I'd assume. Next is going to be a McLaren. He's on their 8 lap currently. I think that's the reserve driver of Hadju. I think you pronounce it. I'm not too sure. And we have, I think, is that some teamwork by the Mercedes there to give a little bit of slipstream to Adam Lapidge. Top 6 is blue, very satisfying. Well, if the 2 Alpine drivers can get up there as well, then it'll be a top 8. And also by the fact that you can tell that the top 6 is blue, that's probably a good sign, because I assume last week you probably couldn't even tell that. As Adam Lapidge is currently just about a 10th up through Sector 1. As he's mentioned to just keep it within track limits, and if he can get this lap down, he might be able to challenge potentially into the top 3 at the moment. And through the next corner, managing to just about keep it under control through there. Let's see what time he's going to be on through the Sector 2 split, and he's still about a 10th up. Now Juncal didn't quite take much of the curb on the inside, but that could be on purpose, as he's now coming towards the line. Going to take a tight line, or he's going to go a bit wide, maybe to do 2 laps here, as he was a 10.5 down. And it looks like he is going to go for another lap. Next across the line is one of the Alfa Romeos of Darrell. No, it's not. It's Cody starting his lap. And we also have then David Hoy starting a lap. And one of the Ferraris who's actually on a lap, Lundgren, but he has invalidated. After him is Markel Cifuentes, who's just starting his lap. So I'm assuming that's the end of the session, maybe, considering on how everything looks, or maybe the session's just ended, as I believe one of the Alpines goes up to 8th. I wasn't able to quite get the name of the reserve before the race. I will have a look while we are loaded into the race. And we have then one of the Alfa Romeos of Darrell coming to the line. Is he going to improve? No, he was 7 seconds down. Team next is a Williams, their 8th lap. And crossing the line onto actually start their lap. So yeah, maybe not. The session hasn't ended yet, as that's definitely not an AI driving. So I believe we still have 3 or 4 minutes left potentially. We'll have to see. As he goes purple sector 1, Jin Bin does. Which at the moment, the time isn't enough his game so far to put him on the pole, but with a purple sector 1, he definitely can challenge for it. And he's taking the corners very nicely, just trying to keep it within track limits and also not put too much throttle on to unsettle the car. So let's see how he is compared to his lap in Sector 2. He's a 10th and he's almost 2 tenths up. So he might be able to go into pole here, which would be a shock to the system for Owen, who's probably expecting to be on pole. To the line. It seems like through Juncal would have got enough speed. Can he take provisional polling? Yes, he does, with a 107 flat. That is a very solid time. And Dino follows him right behind with a 107.1. So the race winner from last time, Owen, is now down to 3rd on the grid, with Jimbin and Dino both overtaking him there, with very solid laps of a 107 flat and a 107.1. Next up is one of the Alpha Tauris to the line, which is Harvey starting his lap. And then after that it'll be a Alpine. of Rajbold, who's just finishing his lap and manages to improve to a 108.2. After him is another reserve driver in the Ferrari, who had invalidated his lap and was unable to improve. But we also have Majinski's just started a lap right behind him, which could be an issue with the Ferraris going for another lap. Obviously, I'm not sure how long's left in the session, but the top of the field here is very, very close, with the top 6 all being within 5 tenths. As next to the line is one of the Haas cars, is Pavel, who's gone up to P4 with a 107.3. And next across the line is a Ferrari. Doesn't look like they improved. Next up is Harvey. Will he improve? He was down in sector 2 to the line, and he stays the same, unfortunately. And into the pits goes Rajpold, and on an 8 lap to start his final run, I assume, based on how long I think will be left, is Owen. But we still have more people crossing the line. There's a Ferrari there, AlphaTauri, but neither of them have improved. I think Elliott might have improved slightly, but not enough to get past anyone. Next up is a Mercedes. I think that is Adam starting this lap. Then we have the McLaren of I cannot remember which reserve is which at the moment. I think this is Eric Hadju. As Jimbin goes quicker, in the first drive into the 106 is right at the end of the session. I says yes, the session is ending, so at least that's working. 106.9 being the first driver in there. Can anyone else match him though is the question. Owen is currently 2.5 tenths up, which at the moment is about the exact same time as Jimbin. So based on his straight line speed, means we'll see how close to pole he can get. And across the line, it's going to be a 106.8, which takes pole off of Jimbin by just under a tenth. But we still have other drivers like Adam, who's unfortunately invalidated when he was 3 tenths up. And is there anyone else still out on a lap? We have Eric Hadju improving by a tenth. Doesn't choose to take much of a tight line to the finish, but he can still improve and gets into the top 10. So at the moment, Darrell's on 5-lap-old soft, so I don't think he's improving. So I believe that is our grid set for the race. So Owen manages to get back-to-back poles, I believe, which is what a lot of people probably expected. Jimbin takes second, which is a great performance from him, also getting into the 106s. Then we have Dino third, Pavel fourth, Vasco fifth, Elliott sixth, Adam seventh, Jacob eighth, Goran Martinez ninth, Eric Hadju 10th. Then I believe this is really annoying me that I can't remember the reserves. I've figured out this one's I think Tuavila. This is I know I can't pronounce the name because hey, it's a Polish name, but I can't remember it off the top of my head either to pronounce it. So, but he's on a tactical pole with Harvey and Ailes just behind him. We also have Rafael on outlap. That could be due to a disconnection, so I'll have to check in a moment if there's anything to do with a re-lobby or anything, but I'm not sure he's meant to be on an outlap right now, but as the session has ended, I will temporarily swap over to that screen as... Okay, the session seems to have ended now. Alright, so swapping back over. Right, so we have, yeah, the same order I said for the top 12 anyway. Below that, we have Ailes and Reed, both of the Alfa Romeos, in 13th and 14th. We have Lundgren 15th, Rajpal 16th, Tuavila in 17th, David Hoy 18th, Rafael Fraz 19th, and Markel Cifuentes, who wasn't able to get a lap in, down in last. He will start from the back of the grid this race. So, Owen taking back-to-back poles, and Jimbin the only one within a 10th, but behind them, up to 8th place is very, very close. So, could see a great battle there. And from 9th to 12th, they're also all within a 10th. So, with the cars in 11th and 12th potentially being able to go for mediums on an alternate strategy. But again, it says rain's incoming, but we don't know if that's going to be the start of the race or later on, and it is going to be the start of the race. It's looking light at the moment. So more than likely going to be into conditions to start the race, which could really shake up the grid early on in the race, as there's a big difference between people's pace on the dry tyres and wet tyres. So people who are, more competent in the wet will have to look to, make their way through the field. And those who aren't so comfortable in the wet will have to look to defend their positions if they're higher up on the grid at the moment. So we are just about to get underway with the formation lap. So we'll actually be able to see what tyres it is, which I believe is Inters. Are they on softs? They are on softs, I believe. Let's see, is that correct? Don't want to update hold on, telemetry tyre. Yes, everyone's still on their qualifying tyres. Okay. Now this could make things quite interesting, as we have people on still on dry tyres here. Let's have a look at the conditions on track. It's certainly greasy, so we might see some people pulling into the pits very early on here, unless the rain is planning to clear up. But there's still rain falling, as you can see. So we don't know if it's going to get drier, wetter, or what's going to happen. This could be a very chaotic start, as some people at the back have gone mediums, like Alfie Harvey, Cody Reed and David Hoy. This could certainly become interesting very quickly here, as we have 36 laps ahead of us, and the 8 laps already nearly done. Right, that went a lot quicker than I was thinking in my head anyway. So we have Jimbin, who... Oh, Jimbin's disconnected, so... I completely forgot. I remember seeing that at the end of the last bit, but hopefully he can get back in. But that's not going to be good off the start for him. Same with Marcos Fuentes at the back. So hopefully everyone who isn't in can get back in the session. But yeah, let's see. Will the game give me a good angle for the lights here? Come on. Let's see what we can get. Well, I'm not going to be able to see the lights, so I'm just going to have to rely on hearing them instead. So, as everyone just reforms the grid now. And it's ready for lights out in Brazil any moment now. As we have the lights coming on, I believe. No, we are on a bit of a standstill. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it's lights out in Brazil as Owen gets a good start, and behind him, everyone just crawling off the line, as the conditions do seem to be quite slippy, as there's contact at the back. And we have side-by-side currently between Jimbin and Fuscadija, but Fuscadija manages to come out on top of that. We have a Alfa Romeo in the back who's dropped off the pack a bit, and Hitchen's already got a 1.4 second lead, as everyone's now coming down Ero Pc. There's yellow flags at the back, as there was a Williams off track there of Goran Martinez. There's now everyone coming through turn 4 to see Lago, and it seems like everyone's made it through cleanly, but there's a Haas range of Pavel Zakowski. That's going to drop him right towards the back, and we hope he hasn't got damage either, as Owen's managed to get a storming start out the lead and managed to bridge the gap to 1.6 seconds already. Make that 1.7, as it seems Dino's struggling really badly in these partially wet conditions, as everyone just trying to make it through turn 10, I believe, without spinning, as everyone's just being careful. But Owen, he seems to have the confidence in these wet conditions. He has been known to be very quick within these wet races before. Let's see, is anyone going to make an early pit stop for Inters, however? As it could potentially be Inter conditions any moment now, which could play a crucial part in deciding the order early on. As at the back, Gohan Martinez struggling, as we have an Alfa Romeo in alongside of Williams, the AlphaTauri Harvey. And does Darrell have damage? No, he doesn't, luckily. Otherwise, the Alfa Romeos would have had to double slack. And Alfie Harvey gets a speed in the pit one as Jim Bin's up the inside into Desida de Largo. Puscadija goes a bit wide, but he's able to keep the position there. And right behind them, Vasco's just having a look, ready to make his move. Trying to get up to P2 to make it a Red Bull 1-2 at the moment, potentially, as the cars at the back have pitted for Inters, which is very interesting to see. As Owens there got a 3.2 second gap on the softs. He seems very comfortable here in front currently, as no one's able to keep up at the moment. As Dino's really struggling here, having to hold up the cars behind him potentially, as Jim Bin seems quite confident to be able to get through, but I feel like we'll be seeing people pit for Inters here. As Owen does not. Well, let's see if Dino does. He does not either. Anyone going to peel into the pits early on here? It seems like everyone's still comfortable on the dry tyres. As DRS has been enabled, so there is still DRS. As Vasco gets our first 3-second time penalty of the day. As now again Jim Bin using the DRS has just been activated to make the move on Dino, and he's up into second. So now we'll be able to see if Dino was struggling. As at the back there's a retirement of David Hoy in the Aston Martin, and that's right in the middle of the track. Surely that's got to be at least a virtual safety car or anything. That should be a normal safety car realistically, but by now it would have activated, so I don't think we're going to get one. As now Jim Bin's in front of Dino, as Darrell's also retired. And that is just after Desida de Largo, and there we go, we have a virtual safety car at least. I think now, and now it's changed to a full safety car, so I believe we're going to see everyone pitting for Inters now, as that's the smartest thing to do at this rate. Especially with the conditions the rain not looking like it's going to hold up, and we don't see Owen going to the pits. What about Jim Bin? No. So no one's seeming to want to gamble with the Inters at this current time. But however, we do have one of the Alpines coming into the pits. Will anyone else follow him though? As it doesn't look like it, so no, everyone else is confident to stay on the softs. As Vasco's retired, has he just binned it under safety car? And yes, he has. Out of on the rare aposta here, it's claimed the victim early on as not paying for Inters though. The Alpine has put on mediums instead, as Gohan Martinez has got a drive-through penalty for speed under safety car. As I saw him overtake the safety car and get let through, but he's been given another drive-through for speeding, so I'm not sure what's going on at the back. He's literally not moving, barely. So a glitch maybe in the lobby, as Adam Lapage has got a 5-second penalty for collision with Rashpold. There is a lot of position changing as Jim Bin's onto the grass. So he's dropped all the way from, I believe he was up in second, and he's now down to 12th. So absolute chaos here in Brazil. As Gohan Martinez goes to the pits. And he's retired from the session. So that's in 4 laps, 4 cars out. Hopefully this trend doesn't continue, otherwise everyone will be gone by lap 20. As current now, we have the McLarens who are up into P3 and 4, and this could be quite difficult with everyone needing to warm their tyres in these wet conditions. As Adam Lapage goes for it on the Inter, serving his penalties. Jim Bin going as well. Oh my! Okay, so there's the speediest pit crew you'll ever see running out onto the track, as they clearly weren't expecting him. But Adam has gambled with the Inters here, so we'll have to see if that's going to pay off for him. I think I expected more, to be honest, to gamble with Inters. As is he going to be able to get out in front of Cody? Yes, he is on track. But luckily for everyone, this safety car being so early allows Owen not to just run away, as the rain hasn't got any heavier, but also hasn't got any lighter. It's just stayed the same. So some of the most unpredictable conditions here in Brazil. As it seems a lot could happen, especially with the strategy calls here being potentially a very key decider in what's going to happen during this race. As we'll take a look quickly at who's the biggest gainers out of the start, as safety car will be in this lap. As could we see that, please? I cannot remember what section it's in. Great. Nice. Position change. There we go. So we have Faraz, and he has Sir Martin up 10, and but all the cars in front of him up 9. Same with Cifuentes up 8. But anyway, back to the front for the restart. Let's see, when is Owen gonna go? He's waiting right up to the line here. The McLarens are ready, and there goes Owen. And he's already managed to get a decent enough gap to keep it. As there's yellow flags behind, so a bit of chaos near the back as Adam Lapage, I see how he's doing on his Inters, running outside of a ghost car. As through turn 1 again. As there's a Ferrari spun, he's at Lundgren ate the race. No, he's managed to just about keep it out the wall there as the two McLarens are battling down towards De Lago. And Mashinsky's just ahead on this occasion. As Rajpol goes up the inside of Puscadija, who's dropping backwards here, and one of the McLarens has lost it, and also to overlay in the Ferrari causing a lot of chaos out on track, and a lot of cars having to take avoiding action here, as Pavel and Jimbin are fighting further behind as well. Can Jimbin make a move? No, it seems he's just too far back in that corner there. As further forward, action kicking off anywhere as Puscadija looks to make a move as Hadju goes very wide there, and look at it, he gets better traction out the corner as everyone's crawling when the track here as at the back. Adam on his Inters is down to 15th, so it doesn't look like his bolt strategy has paid off here. As again, no one is pitting. And we have won the Alpines of Rajpol as Mashinsky nearly loses it on a straight there. And behind him, we have Dino fighting away with one of the McLarens and into the corner. And it's contact between Dino and the McLaren there as Mashinsky was sort of blocking, going quite slowly as his teammate had to take avoiding action, and it ended up Dino causing contact with them. And now behind them, we have Faraz fighting with one of the Alpines. Into De Lago they go. Will the Alpine go for the move? He's gone up the inside on the medium tyres as well. And he's made that move stick as everyone's still struggling with the conditions and running right through De Lago. And hey, Owen at the front, not as big as of a gap this time. Only 1.5 seconds ahead currently. But back to the battling behind. Dino now stuck behind the McLaren of Mashinsky. Will he be able to get the move done soon? I'm not sure, but definitely on the straight he'll have a good go at it, as Mashinsky struggled there last time. And now just behind them, as things are calming down a bit after the all the action kicked off on the restart, as it does not look like Dino's quite close enough, but we'll have to see, as his straight line speed seems to be better, as DRS has been enabled again, so again suggesting that Inters may not be the best tyre at the moment still. As behind Dino, the Alpine just having a look at a move potentially. As Mashinsky now, as Dino's got DRS, he should be a move into De Lago for him. And round the outside he's going to go. Is he going to be able to make this move stick? He's kept it within track limits as well, just about there. And they're still side by side. And is Mashinsky going to hold it in? He's deploying his battery, but has to back out and not cause a collision there. Asking is there DRS? Yes, there is DRS enabled at the moment, but we will have to see if that's going to change. As Alfie Harvey at the back, currently in 13th, picks up a 3-second time penalty. As currently following through, Dino's managing to bridge a slight gap to the McLaren behind, but with DRS enabled, as Mazinski having a bit of a moment there on the exit of the corner. But he's still got DRS to dinner, so if he can pull closer on this straight, maybe then the Ero Pc he will be able to make a move. As at the back we have Alfie Harvey being overtaken by Tua Vila. And now we have Mazinski about 6 tenths behind, which I don't think he's going to be close enough into Desida Largo. As we have yellow flags behind, and that is the Williams of Jimbin. Doesn't appear as it has any damage, but with the slippery conditions on track, he's struggling to get back onto the track, as we have Cody in the pits for a set of softs. So at the moment, the weather not making its mind up on what's going to happen. It could either go one way or another to full wets or to perfect dry conditions, but we are just unsure at the moment, as Pavel's got a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. I believe that was for just spinning across the corner, so that should be able to get removed as he lost positions from it. And we also have, so that's a late Lundgren through, and also Hadju behind in the McLaren. As we have a McLaren losing it there a bit, Mazinski, as the wet conditions struggling with him, as the Alpine's nearly round in the back as well. So we have Faraz up to 6th through, when it was wet conditions last year, Faraz did win this race in Brazil, as we have a McLaren at the back of Hadju. I believe just about kept out the barriers there, so he does not have damage, fortunately. But still, we don't know with the conditions, as the rain is exactly the same as it was at the start, but people seem to be getting more comfortable with it at the moment, as people are still making mistakes, but they are seeming to just, you know, be committing to these dry tyres, as Adam is in for mediums, so could be suggesting that if they've been told that it's going to get drier, which would be interesting, as Cody's now in the lap later after he pitted. So is he going back to Winters maybe? I have not a clue, but at the front, Owen 2.4 second lead at the moment, has Faraz has caught up to Mazinski now, so from towards the back of the grid, he's looking good in the Aston Martin here to potentially take a few more positions, but he's just outside DRS there, unfortunately for him, as Cody went for another set of softs. So I'm not quite too sure about what happened there, but if he's not going to get a good exit out of the pits, he's going to fall a lap down to Owen here, which I think it's going to be close. Well, he has, because he's just had to let Owen through regardless, or would have had to let him through, as fastest lap of the race at the moment, 1:13.9 by Jimbin, suggesting the conditions definitely are not perfect, as we have Hadju in the pits off of his soft. So here on lap 11, let's see what he's going to go for. I think he's mechanics there, they're holding softs, and yes they are, so looks like he's going to do a 2-stop if it's going to remain dry, but again, the rain's exactly the same as it was, so no incentive from the game if anything's going to change here. And we have a 3-second penalty for Jimbin, who, after a very strong qualifying, has struggled here in the race so far with the unpredictable conditions. And we have, well, that's Hadju coming out the pits. I forgot he'd pitted already. But at the front, 2.7 second gap to Owen, as we have Lundgren just outside the DRS of the Alpine here, but he's on those 10 lap old softs, so you will probably expect to see him pitting very soon. As we have yellow flags behind, and that's the Haas of Pavel. He's just lost it on the exit of the corner there, as you could get a nice view of the rain there, seeing it's falling on the track still. A decent rate, potentially could get heavier, but for now I think Lundgren's going to pit yes for softs. So he's following Hadju in the McLaren and going for a 2-stop, it seems. As these conditions, again, no, we just don't have any change, and it means we don't know what's going to happen, as Pavel picks up a 3-second time penalty. So let's have a look again there at well, we've got a little less action, as we have Rashford and Faraz. Rashford's gone under my nose this race, I completely missed him going from 16th to 3rd, and Faraz going from 19th to... Well, I saw Faraz go from 19th to 6th, but... Again, Rashford's done the exact same thing. The experience of them probably racing... they've raced in the Ero for... I think Rashford's done 2 seasons now before this one, and we've had Faraz in I believe just last season, but maybe a season before as well. But it seems like, you know, the experience they have is coming into use here, as we only have one person left on the Inters, which is Harvey in the Alpha Tauri, who seems to be struggling. So I have a feeling he's going to get off those tires soon, as Pavel picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So, we have Faraz again. He's finally caught back up to the McLaren of Mashinsky in front of him. So, we'll see if he's able to get the move done this time around. As he's close, so if he can sit close through here, he'll have and get a good run out of Juncal. He'll have a great chance to end the back straight. As Pavel has pitted for mediums and Cifuentes has pitted for softs. And Rafael is still within the DRS range. But we also have the Alpine behind them, just following them. Potentially waiting on a mistake from these two, as Alfie picks up another 3-second time penalty. And they both have about 80% DRS currently. Can Faraz go for a move around the outside? As on the straight there, it does look like there's a bit more standing water. That seems only just, you know, on the straight where most people will be taking the same line, so it's probably just, you know, as the rain's continuing at the same rate. But Faraz ran the outside into Desida de Largo, bit of contact. He's had to run wide. Is he going to be able to maintain a position? Yes, he is. Now the Alpine behind potentially going to have a look, as Mashinsky thought about a move, but into there it's almost suicidal. So that was not worth the risk, and luckily he didn't go for it. As we have at the back a battle between Cody and Cifuentes, but Cifuentes is still disconnected from the session, it seems. As we have yellow flags, and that's on the Ferraris, and he's out of the race. At least that's to Avila. Is that going to bring anything? That's a safety car. So it's a very... it's an interesting corner to pin it on, as there's been a collision between the Alpine and Mashinsky. And that's not going to be what they wanted, especially considering they're all coming into the pits here. But I think the safety car just missed Elliott and Owen at the front. And luckily the safety car has let them through, but nearly crashed into Elliott there. So I don't know what Burton Linelander's been doing, but he's seeming a bit... doesn't seem very happy with how things are unfolding. He's tried taking it one of our drivers. But everyone seems to be fitting for mediums here, which comfortably will make it to the end. So sort of what I expected. And I'm expecting these front two to pit, as well as Rajpal also wasn't able to pit. But everyone else behind is looking... Let's see, as Harvey gets another 5 seconds for speeding into the pit. So that's twice this race he's done that. As let's see what tides he's going to go on to. And it is going to... Well, he's serving a penalty first, I believe. We can't really see from here, but is it mediums? Yes, it will be mediums to the end. As Faraz has got a penalty for speeding under the safety car, which is not what he wanted. Loads of penalties coming out here, as Owen and Elliott are into the pits. As Owen gets a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pits. So a lot of the drivers here being caught out by the pit lane. A tricky, almost like chicane-like motion through there, potentially meaning people missing their braking zones. As we have Dino behind and Rajpal, who pitted for softs on accident, I believe so. Unfortunately, that is going to drop him far down, which is not what he would have wanted, as that's going to promote our current podium to being Elliott, Owen and Dino, and luckily for Owen and Elliot, they've managed to get back in front of Dino, and there's another drive-through penalty from Ero Pc for speeding under safety car. So again, loads and loads and loads of drivers getting caught out here, and so far 5 DNFs this race, 15 still running, 1 disconnect. So we'll have to see what's going to happen here to the end, as the front runners now have caught the safety car. Luckily no chaos is ensuing here at the safety car, which is always good to know. As everyone has pitted for new tyres other than Adam Lapage in the Mercedes, then Hadju and Lundgren in the Ferrari and McLaren respectively, 2 of our reserve drivers. So Owen here might have to wait definitely another lap, maybe one more after that currently, as the field is very separated, but a safety car bringing that all back together is going to mean the action's all high again, as the rain seems to have lightened a little bit, I guess, as a lot of the track looked a lot greasier earlier than it does now. As we have Alfie Harvey, who's spun under safety car, which is not what he would have wanted, as now it means if the safety car does just choose to come in, he might not be able to catch up. But I think after this lap it can still do one more lap, which is ideal for them. As we have Owen just hitting the tyres, Elliot just leaving a gap to him, just to, you know, just be safe on the safety car, not cause any collisions, you know. That's what he's good for here. He's done plenty of clean races, and that's what's got him the results in pre-season race, and also last time out I believe he was on the podium as well. So Owen's going to need to bolt it as far as he can before people catch up, as that 5-second penalty for speed in the pits is, I doubt that's going to be able to get removed, as we have Alfie Harvey and the AlphaTauri pitting. So if the safety car just decides to leave him, then, well, he's kind of done for. Let's see, he did lose his front wing, so let's see what tyres he's going to be put on, but he's also got to serve a penalty, so he could be stuck there quite a while. And it is another set of mediums, I believe, which he wouldn't have used in qualifying. I don't think he used in qualifying. He might have though. So safety car will stay it for another lap, as there is still cars catching. But I think after next lap it will go in, and now the conditions are dry. So it seems like the rain has finally given way and just left us here, which means we're going to have dry track running probably to the end of the race, I'd assume, unless Brazil's going to throw another curveball straight back at us, and all of a sudden we could just see rain come flying back down and straight onto Winters. As we have Cody pitting, he did get a penalty as well for speeding in the pit lane, and he's found a fresh set of softs to the end. So he'll have to do, well, if he wants to get to the end, that'd be 18 laps, so I don't think it is to the end actually. But he's going to try a very aggressive strategy here, which could pay off, but we'll have to see. As I'm pretty sure the safety car, regardless of if Alfie catches here, will go in this lap, as I think it's been out 3 laps now, so unfortunately for him, he won't be able to catch up to the safety car. And he's managed to get a 3-second time penalty under the safety car as well, which is potentially the worst thing that could have happened to him here, which is very unfortunate for him after qualifying in P12 anyway. Will the safety car be coming in this lap, or, because I think it has to, unless I've counted the laps wrong, which I probably have somehow. Oh, and yes, it is in this lap, so Alfie's gonna have to get his foot down to catch up, but with Owen slamming the anchors on here to get it up to the line, I don't think that'll be an issue for him, as he's coming up towards Juncal, so he won't be too far behind. Behind we have everyone just waiting for Owen to go. We have a difference here as we have Elliot just, you know, ready now as Owen's just going to continually heat his tyres. Is he going to take this all the way to the line? And he pretty much did, as behind there's quite a few overtakes occurring, which is not what we want. As a 3 wide, and there's a bit of contact there. One of the Alpines having to run very wide. And now we have side by side between the McLaren and the Ferrari there. One of the Alpines in the background still off track, had to cut off pretty much the whole corner there, unfortunately. But we have a battle here between Lundgren and Maszynski all the way towards turn 4. As Adam Lapage is off in the background, but Lundgren wasn't able to make the move on Maszynski as behind. Faraz has also spun it. And one of the McLarens here of Hadju just getting pushed wide. And he's pushing the AlphaTauri of Harvey completely off track there. And Harvey just about keeps the car going the right way. But out front, Owens managed to get the gap for DRS. So unless someone's going to make an impact, he's going to be able to just about run away with this one, I believe. But he's going to have to get the... He's going to have to get working if he's going to get that gap all the way up to 5 seconds here. As now behind we have Lundgren, still just 4 tenths behind Maszynski. And with him being on the older softs here, he's going to want to try and make an impact and get through. As Owen sets the fastest up with a 1:10.1. I have a feeling that could come down as Hadju in the McLaren pits. And in front we have side by side as Dino has gone completely around the outside of Elliot there, not wanting to waste any time at all, and is now hopefully going to make a charge towards Owen, as the gap is currently 1.7 seconds. So if he wants to make sure he can still change for the win, as Hadju has retired on the main straight there, and that's by another safety car. So straight away we have another safety car. So here, completely resetting the race again. Owen also gets to serve his 5-second penalty, which does mean Dino's going to take the lead, and potentially Elliot going up some places as well, and potentially even more behind them. So Owen could be in a bit of a sticky situation after this. Maybe not what he would have wanted, as he would have been hoping to just get that 5-second gap to the end. But now, if people do pit for softs, which I don't know if they will, and Owen is in, Dino stays out, everyone stays out except for Lundgren, who was on the softs. And has Owen made a mistake by pitting, do we think? He's serving his penalty and he's going for another set of mediums anyway, although the guys at the front have only done laps under safety car on mediums, so I don't think that's worth it, as it's dropped him down to 9th, so that might not have been the smartest decision. As at the back we have Adam Lapage and Alfie going on to softs, and we have one of the Aston Martin of Faraz just retiring there on track in sector 3. Luckily his car's just pulled off, not causing any harm, but yeah, it's a good job, as retiring on track can sometimes cause absolute chaos. So now we're down to 13 drivers, 7 retirements so far, and again another safety car, as Dino now leads the way with Elliot right behind him. And that's what Elliot's done this whole race, just stayed near the front, kept it clean. As now Adam's he's trying to overtake the Ghost car, but the game's having absolutely none of that. Telling him to get right back down towards the back, as yeah, we'll have a little review of penalties once, just to give a sneak peek for what's happening towards the end, as we have Maszynski on 5, Jimbin on 3, Pavel's on 18 seconds. He's only 12 off a disqualification, I believe. Then we have Rajpold on 3, Reed on 11 and Harvey on 9, but yeah, that's the last look you're going to get now before the end, in terms of penalties, so don't want to spoil too much on the race result, as there could be plenty more to come still. And the cloud's still not clearing the way, so imagine if we had rain again, everything will change. And with a chance of that happening, obviously we don't know the full weather, it would cause absolute chaos, and it could be a split decision between who stays out on inters, who stays on mediums. But That's only if rain does happen. As everyone has now caught the safety car, so it will, well, probably go in this lap, as it's got no reason to stay out any longer. But has Owen potentially blown a back-to-back win away here with hitting for those mediums? As Dino behind looked very racy as it was dry conditions before, so is he going to be quick enough to get the gap to Sorensen, as there's been a collision between Harvey and Hitchner, as Harvey's lost out of position to an AI Haas car, which makes no sense. I'm not sure what would have happened there. We'll check if there's damage to his car, but no, there isn't, which is lucky. But the safety car should now be going in, and we'll get straight back underway, and yes it is. So for the first time in this race, I believe, we have someone other than Owen restarting. I'm not sure if that was our third or fourth safety car. There's been a collision behind again between Reed and Rashbold. These guys just getting a little too close to each other under safety car, and that's not ideal. They need to be a bit more careful, as most of these should be able to be removed in terms of the penalties, but we'll have to see, as Dino's just pulled away there. He's straight up into 6th gear, gave himself a lot of speed. Then the straight has a great start from Adam Lapich, flying straight up to 9th, but he's had to let the cars back through. As we also have Hitchinen in the pits, so having another penalty, so unless there's one more safety car to shake things up one last time, that might be his race done. As Cody's off the track, the Senna S is there. But immediately Dino just using all the battery he has, but Elliott using all of his battery to try and keep with Dino. As Dino's trying to get out of DRS and just get away from the pack here. So we have Dino trying to get outside of the 1 second gap here. Loads of drivers behind. But someone who I think is in a good spot here is Lundgren. Fresh mediums, 1 lap old, no penalties. If he can get past these guys with penalties in front, he could definitely get straight onto the podium and make an impact here, as Dino deploying all of the battery he does have. But whatever Dino's doing with his battery, Elliott seems to be copying him, as they both used it all on that lap, and Dino has managed to get that 1 second gap, so we're going to be able to see if he can manage to maintain that. But I have a feeling Elliott's not going to let him do that and use all of his battery power to try and get back into this one. As behind, everyone just seems to be following, but Lundgren is potentially looking for a move. Luckily he doesn't make the dive there into Decide de Largo, otherwise that would have been an absolute cent and a half. That would have just caused a collision, more than likely. As Elliott managing to close the gap here in the middle sector, it seems. Potentially suggesting Dino's gone for more of a low downforce setup for the straight line speed, whereas Elliott here has gone for low downforce to be able to catch up through that middle sector. As DRS should be enabled going on to the next lap. As Jimbin here, right behind Majinski. So is he going to be able to make a move towards turn 1 here? As Majinski defends the inside. And DRS is now enabled, but Majinski with a straight line speed here. So Jimbin not able to make an impact, but there is no DRS, and Majinski did not get it on Elliott in front. So he's going to have to just try his best here with to defend without it, but his straight line speed is unreal here, so definitely running a very low downforce setup. As behind, Lundgren seemed to make a move around the outside, and there's contact as Pavel spun it, and that's collected on the Ferrari, scores absolute chaos. Rajpal's had to go off track to avoid Harvey as well, and now all of a sudden everything's kicked off here in the midfield, as that's allowed Rajpal up to 5th, his teammate up to 6th, Harvey up to 7th, and Adam Lapage up to 8th from being quite far behind, and everyone in front of him has a penalty. So if he can get a move on here, he could even get a podium. But he's going to have to really try and get past everyone. As here we have Elliott just keeping himself in the DRS here of Dinner, which is all he needs to do. As, you know, he can just take this as calm as he wants. As long as he can keep within the DRS and, you know, just have one lap towards the end where he just goes for it, he should be completely fine here to potentially be on course for a win, as we have an overtake behind as Adam Lapage sends it up the inside of Alfie Harvey, and he's just now going to try and get away as quick as possible. But he has got DRS, so he should be completely fine to keep that position, and yes he is. So now he's got a charge on the medium runners in front of him, as Owen sets the fastest lap at the back, but unless he's going to absolutely take like 3 seconds a lap, there's no chance of him getting back into this. Unfortunately for him, as he was having a quite a dominant race at the front. Wasn't able to pull the gaps he was last race, but that's all gone down the drain for him, it seems, unfortunately, as we have Elliott again, just within the DRS of Dino, doing what he needs to do, keeping the gap, but Jim Bin and Majinski behind are following in close. So if they do have penalties, they can get removed. It could cause an absolute fight here right at the end, as neither of them were able to get DRS, and I don't think Jim Bin's going to get it again, unfortunately. But Elliott this time only 4 tenths behind Dino, so it seems like each lap the DRS is allowed to get a little closer. Get closer and closer to making that move towards the end of the race. And as long as he doesn't make any major mistakes, he can just keep with Dino here. As behind Adam on his softs, he's currently stuck behind both of the Alpines, and he's going to be wanting to make the move very quickly to, if he's going to make the impact on his soft tyres while they're still decently fresh, he's going to need to get through these back markers. Well, not back markers, that's hard. I apologise, they're not back markers. The midfield pack on mediums in front. I have no clue why I said back markers, because they're not back markers. But anyway. So again, Elliott just inside DRS, as he just about at the detection zone that time, as Adam just get a 3-second penalty though, which is not ideal, but it does seem he's going to be able to get the move on Rajpal here, around the outside, and yeah, he's he's well through there, and unfortunately not quite in DRS of the Alpine in front. But however, Elliott has actually dropped out of DRS of Dino. So is this going to mean Dino can get away here at the end? Or will Elliott be able to branch the gap back? As we know, he has been quicker in the middle sector, it seems. As that gap is staying around 1.1 currently, so he's going to need to get that down by a 10th before the DRS activation point out of Juncal. As further behind we just have people just, you know, not too many battles, people just, you know, keeping it calm, potentially waiting towards the end here to make their moves, as the gap to Majinski and the cars behind him is coming down, so he's gonna have to be careful of the charging pack behind him. As Lundgren getting past the AI car, and we have Elliott just outside DRS again. And that's not what he needs at this stage of the race. He's needing to get within that DRS within these next few laps, as we do have 8 laps to go, as the yellow flag's behind, and that's one of the Alpines round, who was on the fresh mediums and was taking loads of time out of the cars in front, and unfortunately he spun it there, which is not what he wanted. As things are calming down, but Elliott just getting closer and closer through this middle sector, and if he can just get a good exit out of here, there's a chance he might be able to get the DRS this lap. But unfortunately that gap's still staying about 1.1 seconds out of Juncal. If he can get a better exit, he might be able to get it. He's going to need to deploy a bit of battery to get back within the DRS, but at the detection point he's not close enough, as we have battle behind, but not much of a battle, as Hitchinham passes the car with no front wing there. And now we've just 6 laps left. Dino's managing to do what he needs to do, keep that gap above a second. And I feel like that's all he's going to be doing to the end of the race, just keeping that gap above a second. you know, just being calm with it and just trying to get through to the end. As behind we have Adam, who's slowly, the gap's gone down from about 2.4 to 2.1, so that's 3/10 of a lap. If he can get within DRS, I think he'll be able to get up to 4th, but a podium might not be in question here for him, unfortunately. However, after last race, they needed to take a lot of points off of Red Bull, as Owen did win the race, and Mercedes, who want to challenge for the title here, didn't have the best of races, but currently 1st and 5th is going to bring them a lot of points their way, whereas Vasco retired and Owen has had, well, a bit of bad luck with speed in the pit lane, which has put him all the way down to 9th currently, but with no penalties and being one of the quickest drivers on track, I mean, if the cars in front have a lot of penalties, he can definitely make a few places up. As he's probably taken about half a second to a second a lap out of them, I'd assume, with the few lap fresher tyres. As Harvey gets another 3-second time penalty, bringing his total to 12, I believe. But now the gap between Dino and Elliott has just extended a bit to 1.5 seconds. As we have a battle behind between Cody Reed, who's managed to go up the inside into Desida Largo, it seems, on Alfie, and we have Pavel and Lundgren fighting for the final points fame position here. As Lundgren with the DRS on this occasion, is he going to be able to get the move into Desida Largo? He's well ahead before it, and that's the move done for him. At the moment, unless Dino all of a sudden gets a 3-second time penalty, this race is seeming quite comfortable for him at the moment. He just needs to keep it in track limits, keep it on the road, and just stay calm to the end. As behind, Adam has bridged that gap to Majinski, so now we will see, will he be able to get the position and go up to 4th before the end of the race here? And he's not quite close enough on this time, but next lap or the lap after, he might be able to make a move. As 1.7 at the front the gap is, and Cody just breaking the slipstream there to Alfie behind him, as Alfie running wide through there. It seems like he's been struggling a bit with the corners this track, as I managed to actually keep the car on track on the exit of corners, as he's picked up a lot of penalties this race. And the gap's still 1.7 at the front, but I'm more interested right now in Adam to see, will he be close enough to Jacob to get if he can get a good run out of Juncal and just stay within a good range? And he is only 4/10 behind. He has a disadvantage on the ERS, but with the DRS here, we know Jacob's been very quick in a straight line, but Adam just closing in. Is he going to go for the move around the outside? He is. He's going to dive it around the outside. Is he going to be able to make the move here? He's going to have DRS for the next straight as well, I believe, unless that went to Jacob, which it has gone to Jacob, which I didn't think it would as oh no, the activation point out of turn 1. I didn't realise that all race. That's bit of an awkward one. Anyway, I thought it was just after the line this whole race, but that's fine. We have, again, at the back here, Lundgren and Pavel just fighting for 10th. Pavel has penalties. I think it was like 14 seconds when I checked. But with some of those more than likely being due to you know, contact from safety car speed in the pits, I wouldn't be surprised if he can get some removed. And he also did have that 10 seconds for, I believe, just spinning across the track, so that should be removed as well, probably. At the moment, Dino seems comfortable now. 1.9 seconds clear. And that gap does extend to 2. As he's just keeping it in track limits, doing what he needs to do. As Adam behind goes for the move on Jacob again. Who's got the DRS, so pretty much side by side through there. And it is Adam, so along Ero Pc and into Desida Largo they go. Will Adam be able to get a move? He's going to have to go to the outside here. He's going to brake later, as he's not able to get the move, but he's just got to stay behind again, which is unfortunate for him. It's potentially costing him the chance to charge after a podium here, unfortunately. As we've just, we're about to go down to 2 laps to go. And we have Elliott still within 3 seconds, so if Dino does get a penalty, there's a chance he can still win this race. But I'm not going to check how many warnings Dino has, but he does have PRS on the lap car in front of him, which is going to give him a great advantage down the straight here. And there is 2 laps to go. As Dino just takes it calmly through the lap car. Just make sure it doesn't cause him any issues, but again, behind Adam, now through on Majinski. Seems like the move's been done a lot earlier for him, but Majinski gets another 3 seconds behind him, but will he be able to fight it back into the corner? I'm not sure. Adam attempting to break the slipstream, but with the DRS Majinski on the outside, Adam's going to brake later. He's going to take a lot of the curb on the inside, and he's managed to make the move. Majinski has to go slightly off track there, just to avoid Adam, but Adam is finally through. But with the gap as big as it is, unless Jimbin has a significant amount of penalties, it's going to be P4 for him today. As behind, what did I say earlier on? Owen would catch up to the cars in front, and he has done, as he just cruises past Alfie there. As Alfie seems to be struggling a lot now towards the end of this race. He's on decently old softs, but we have people like Cody who are on 16 lap softs, which are even older. But now, heading on to the final lap, 1.9 seconds is the gap. And it seems like Dino, at the moment, just needs to keep it on track, keep his head, you know, just keep it under control, keep his, you know, don't get too aggressive, as Cody has made a move on Rajpal behind, which gives him P6 on track at the moment. Of Rajpal with the DRS, is he going to fight it back along Ero Pc? As in front we have Lepage and Majinski going side by side, and Adam Lepage just lost out the position again, and behind Cody's dive very deep there off the track, and Rajpal's free again on the final lap. So if these are the same amount of penalties, they are certainly fighting over it like they do. As Cody now, can he get a move up the inside? No, he runs wide, and a bit of contact with the back of the Alpine, but around the outside he tries. Those 17 lap old softs are going to be screaming as Rajpal pushes him completely onto the grass there on the exit, but Rajpal might not have thought he was side by side with him, as Pavel has retired at the back, which means Lundgren will get that final points. But across the line comes Dino to win in Brazil. Elliott gets seconds as Adam's retired. He's retired on the final straight. There's been contact with Majinski in front of him, and all of a sudden Rajpal's through up to 4th. But will that remain with penalties? We don't know, as across the line they come, and Majinski goes there. Owen's up to 4th. So absolute chaos there on the final lappers. It's a very unlikely result for him, he might have thought, but Owen has managed to get 4th. As next across the line is Cody, who's going to take 8th. Alfie 7th, Majinski 6th, Rajpal 5th. And to take the final points position will be the Alpine. Just getting himself a P10 here in his first race as a reserve. Well, absolute chaos there on the last straight out of Juncal. There must have been a fight between Adam and Majinski, as, wow, I have not a clue what's happened there at the end, but yeah. Dino has managed to get himself the win, and that's going to give him the advantage back towards Owen. But Owen, at the end there, no penalties, no nothing, just kept it on the track and managed to steal a P4 right at the end by just, you know, keeping it consistent, quick, and catching up. And he also takes the fastest lap point with a 1:08.9. And as soon as the race has ended, it started raining again. So imagine if we'd had one more safety car and that rain had came a little earlier. Anyway, I'm going to get the race director here. As you can see, there's a lot of penalties. So if people do need the race director, they can use this to get penalties removed that they may have received unfairly, or any warnings that, you know, might have been a bit dodgy. But yeah, there you go. That is the race, and that has been absolutely extraordinary for this race here around Brazil. Your podium for this race is Dino, Sorensen and Jimbin. And driver of the day, personally, from the back of the grid, he dropped off quite far at the end. Rajpal had a very clean race to get it up to 5th. And was just consistent the whole way through. But Dino also had a great fight back. From having a few troubles on the wet conditions early on. So, personally between them, for driver of the day in my opinion. As that race was very chaotic and a lot has happened there. But yeah, what a race. Loads and loads of just everything just happened in that race. That was... whoa. Mental. Alright. Let's have a look then. So, with that race, I'll have a look, see how the standings will look. And... I'm just going to we're going to check the guys on the podium. Let's have a look then. How the standings are. So, with that in mind, so we have so Owen finished 4th, so he will retain his championship lead barely over Elliot, who's got 2 second places in a row here in the Ero, which means he's going to be right in the title fight alongside Dino, who taking the race win is going to be on 31 points. So we'll have Owen on 39 because he got fastest lap as well. And he also got, wait, he got pole position as well, did he? Yeah, so Owen will be on 40 points, I think. Then we'll have, I think we'll have Elliot on 36 and Dino on 31. So, the title fight between those three, certainly starting to seem like those three are going to be the 3 breakaway drivers, but you never know what can happen here in the Ero, as it's all on the cards and it's all to play for every single race. As next week we will be heading to China, I believe. Yes, we are, and yeah, that's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top between Elliot, Dino, and Owen. As the battle for those front 3 seems to be those lot separating. However, we do have a few drivers who are close behind, and consistently there we have Mashinsky, who was fighting all race up near the front, and we have Rajpal, who both races hasn't qualified the best, but in the race he keeps it clean, keeps it on track, keeps out the way of other drivers, and that's what's getting him the points here, which is great from him. Anyways, that is yeah, that's going to be the end of this stream. I hope you enjoyed the race as much as I did, as that was very action-packed, and my voice is now dying, as I didn't have Mitch with me today to help me keep up with the action. But yeah, you'll be back next week, and we'll both be back next week for China. So make sure to come back same time next week at 4 o'clock for the race, and also you can watch at I believe 6 o'clock today we have F3 and 8, and at 8 we have F2. It's something like that. It's something along the lines of that. But yeah, I can just confirm that for you. So we have PSF3's already started, so you can go watch that now, as the race will probably just be about to start. And then PSF2 at 7 today. This is obviously UK time. Then PC1 or PCF1 and PSF1 tomorrow. The 2 top divisions. 4 and 6 respectively, I think. So, make sure to tune into those races. Make sure to come back for more action next week in PCF2. And I'll see everyone next time, where I don't know what's going to happen with what happened here. That was... yeah. That was a race and a half. That was brilliant action.